to make sure that we continue to understand this technology more, including as it develops, so that we can develop effective testing methods, so that we can develop effective mitigations, so that we can be really confident that technology that we're putting out in society is going to be used responsibly and safely and securely.
Welcome to the Regulating AI podcast. We are here live at the AI Innovation Impact Summit. I have Owen with me from Google DeepMind. Owen, welcome to the podcast.
Great to be here.
Owen, we have a global audience of policy leaders, think tank experts, etc. Tell them a little bit about what you do at Google DeepMind and what the mission is.
Yeah, so I lead the policy team globally at Google DeepMind. So we're really excited to develop really advanced AI technology that people right across society can use to do all kinds of incredible things. We think building out a framework for trust is going to be really important as part of that. So we work with governments to help them understand the technology and help them govern it from a place of being informed about it.
So this summit had those 7 sutras, as you know, and one of them was the trust. What do you think about what the Prime Minister has kind of encapsulated? Give our users who couldn't come to this summit a little perspective on that.
I think it's been a really successful and really very fun week. There's an enormous amount of energy and excitement around how this technology is being developed and used right around the world. And you can see that very clearly here in India. It's clear that India is going to be a major AI player going into the future. I think there are a number of things that India is getting right. So firstly, building out the infrastructure to underpin the AI era. So we're proud to be making big investments here. We have $15 billion that we're making in Visakhapatnam into data center infrastructure, into clean energy to be able to power it. One of the things I've really enjoyed about the summit this week is the focus on access and inclusion and making sure that AI really is available to everyone to do all kinds of amazing things in their own lives. Fantastic stories this week from world-leading Indian scientists using AlphaFold to come up with new medical therapies, right through to educators and students across India using AI in the classroom. I think one of the other things that's been really helpful this week is this conversation about trust and governance. It's shone a light on some really important issues like multilinguality, making sure that systems that are being provided work in various different languages so that everyone can use them. That's something that we're really proud to lean into. We think it's important as a global company that wants to be useful globally. We've made an investment with IIT Bombay to study multilinguality, but then also continuing this conversation on how you can create standardized best practices for testing these systems, understanding how they work, understanding their capabilities and risks, and coming up with mitigations for how those risks can be governed.
Well, when India has this, Aadhaar card, the infrastructure which covers almost 1 billion people, which is probably one of the largest, where they have that ability to connect, and even whether it's a farmer, person who's running a small business, etc. And the Prime Minister talked about using that infrastructure to get AI out to the real world. The perception of people is AI is only for knowledge workers or people who sit in Silicon Valley, etc. Google is doing some very interesting things with the government. Tell our audience the real world applications, as you talked about, in terms of research and materials management, etc., so that people understand, hey, it's not just folks sitting in Silicon Valley, but it's everybody.
Yeah, I think this is so important. And I think we've made so much progress in the last few years. It's great to see, but really we feel like we're still in the early innings of what will be quite a transformational era where AI will enable people to do all kinds of fantastic things. And we have to make sure, as you say, that this is not just a technology that is used by a small number of people. It's not just a technology of rich people and experts, but that it's available right across society. I think some of the steps that the Indian government is taking and what we've seen showcased from other governments around the world is really helpful to see. I think the digital public infrastructure that you were talking about there, really, really important. We're trying to lean in and play a role on that front, thinking about how we can work with farmers around the country, help them use AI to understand how their crops are growing, understand climatic conditions, and improve their yields. I do think that governments are going to play a really critical role here as part of this transition. I think they will need to continue to lead and use the technology themselves. I think we need to make sure that AI is not just something that is being used outside of government, but that as people's expectations grow with the technology, people want to see that their their agent schedulers, for example, can dock in with scheduling systems from doctors or MPs, that governments need to be right at the forefront of how they use this technology. So we were excited to launch this week our Google DeepMind National Partnerships Program with the Indian government, where we're going to be working with local partners, ANRF on the science front to help them use models like co-scientist, and then Atal Tinkering Labs on the education front, helping take educational AI into the classroom and improve outcomes for students and teachers.
Owen, to give our listeners some perspective, how is Google AI, Google DeepMind growing in India? How do you see the adoption growing? Is it been pretty good, rapid in terms of world usage? Where does India figure in?
India is one of our most important markets. So it's great to see people here using Gemini. It's great to see people here using important systems like co-scientist, AlphaFold, for example, which is our protein prediction model. It helps researchers understand how a protein folds so you can work out how to do things like create a drug that will bind effectively. India is one of our leading markets. You have over 180,000 scientists right across the country using AlphaFold. So it'll continue to be a really important place that we want to lean into and build and grow with. Again, local partnerships like the one that we did recently with Reliance Geo, where we're trying to help people access Gemini broadly. Another area of focus for us, which we think is going to be really important, is making sure that we're providing highly capable models, but that are very efficient, that are very quick, and that are very cost effective as well. And I think that's going to be an important part of making sure that people right across India and right across the world are able to use this technology.
You're also doing a lot in terms of skilling also in India. Talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah, this is absolutely critical. So access and broad opportunity is one of the things that we really need to get right. So we talked about the need to look at things like multilinguality. We talked about the need to be efficient and cost effective in how we serve these things. But people also need to have the skills to be able to use this technology effectively. I think that can be as basic as helping people right across society understand that this technology exists. I mean, there's an awful lot that you can do with these chatbots just by asking questions in natural language and having a conversation with them. Using voice mode, for example, I think is a real great way to break down barriers as well. So just putting this technology in front of people, it never ceases to amaze me how creative people can get with it. And then I think we need to move right across the whole sweep of AI literacy, helping people understand how to use this effectively, right through to the more critical technical skills around how people can build with AI and develop all kinds of fantastic applications on top of it.
Owen, you work with the UK Safety Institute quite a bit in terms of responsible safety. What are the implications of that from an India perspective as India is building its governance responsible AI framework? Are there any lessons? There are a lot of Indian leaders, policymakers listening to you. What would be some of the implications, lessons learned for that?
Yeah, I think this is a real global whole of society effort that every country needs to make progress on and talk together around how they can use the technology responsibly. So I think one of the great developments over the last few years has been the development of some of these safety and security institutes. You mentioned the UK, but there are safety and security institutes right around the world now. The US, for example, has the CASI, the Center for AI Standards and Innovation. These are going to play a fundamental role bringing together industry, civil society, academics, and government to make sure that we continue to understand this technology more, including as it develops, so that we can develop effective testing methods, so that we can develop effective mitigations, so that we can be really confident that technology that we're putting out in society is going to be used responsibly and safely and securely. I think it's great that these security institutes come together and they talk with each other. That's been a part of the program this week. And so that's something that I think we all need to continue to build on.
Yeah. Owen, I've been able to interview a lot of Indian leaders, business leaders, a lot of excitement about agentic AI agents for them. From a safety, responsible governance, are there things that they should be keeping in mind as they're listening to you? Because huge opportunity with agentic AI, but are there things that they need to keep, whether it's a framework, governance, etc.? So please tell them.
Yeah, I think this is the same across all AI systems. So the development of more agentic systems, which is basically to say AI systems that can do things a little bit more autonomously now, go off and complete tasks, and basically be more useful to people. We're going to have to continue to track this and understand what these capabilities mean, both on the opportunity side and some of the risks that we'll need to address. I think there are various different dimensions to this. We need to create standards for an agent security and safety. I think we need to be mindful of how we test these systems and make sure that they don't have any security vulnerabilities. It's very much the same as when we created a lot of open standards for the internet in the 1990s. I think we now need to create the standards that will underpin the agentic economy and give people confidence that these systems are going to be being used in a reliable and safe and secure way. It's going to be critical to making sure that this is done responsibly, but also to enabling adoption. People and businesses are not going to use this technology unless they feel very confident that it's going to be reliable and secure.
Yeah. Owen, India has many languages and dialects, as you very well know. What is Google, Gemini doing to account for that so that access is available? I should not be restricted maybe because I speak Tamil or I speak Gujarati or I speak Telugu, etc. Tell our listeners what Google has done to kind of give access to everyone.
Yeah, this is essential. We really want this technology to be used right across society for all kinds of reasons. It's the right thing to do. It also makes sense from a business perspective. We want these to be good products that are useful to people in whatever language they're speaking. So we've done a lot of work in this space over some time. We've also made additional investments recently, working with the IIT Bombay to study Indic languages and how we can improve the performance of AI systems across languages in India and more broadly. It's also really important on the trust and governance side of things. We need to make sure that testing for various risks is also effective across different languages. So we've been doing work with organizations like ML Commons, which are translating their benchmarks into various different languages. We're really proud to be a founding supporter of that effort and to be going with them on this journey around translating safety and security tests across languages as well.
Owen, finally, there are a lot of world leaders here. A lot of them are going to be listening to you. Final message from you in terms of as they head back from this conference. Please, this is your camera, your 2 minutes of input to them.
Thank you. I would say to leaders around the world, governments are going to play an incredibly important role leading in this transition to an AI-enabled future. Governments need to use this technology. They need to make sure that they understand it. They need to make sure that they're using it to deliver public services in an even more effective way for people right across the country and right across the world. They also need to play a really important role bringing together partners from across society. This is not a transition that any one group is going to be able to manage by themselves. Industry, government, civil society, academia, we need to share expertise and perspectives across these groups so that we're building technology that is useful and also safe and secure and trustworthy. And we at Google DeepMind are really excited to lean into this and play our role.
Wonderful. Is Nana Banana available here in India?
Nana Banana is...
That's the most important question.
Exactly. We're excited to make it available even more broadly and for people to be using it. It's really fun to see how people are playing with this technology.
Owen, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Really awesome conversation. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Chief AI Officer podcast with Sanjay Puri. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to leave a comment. We'd love to hear what you thought. And share it with someone curious about the future of AI. Join us every Friday right here on the Kayo podcast as we share more stories and insights from the leaders shaping what's ahead.